Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who is here to talk about Dominick Reyes versus Dustin Jacoby. My prediction for this fight is Dustin Jacoby wins. And I've got him winning by submission in round 2. Let's go with a triangle choke. What do you think? All right. I've got him winning by knockout. I think it's his most likely path to victory, and it's certainly Dominick Reyes' most likely path to defeat. But Dustin Jacoby is not as dangerous as the guys that have knocked out Dominick Reyes. We're talking about Yuri Prohashka. Doesn't get more dangerous than that unless we're talking about Alex Pereira. He was also knocked out against Jan Blachowicz with the Polish power in the interim title fight and against Ryan Spann last year, who, say what you will about Ryan Spann, but there's no denying he's 6'5" and built like a brick shithouse. So I think Dustin lacks the overall one punch danger of those guys, or spinning elbow danger and whatever else. But I still think with his kickboxing acumen and also his size and respectable power, he's got what it takes to go through the chin of Dominick Reyes. And that is my prediction. It'd be tough to have another prediction. Dominick Reyes, I thought so much of him going into that John Jones fight and even more coming out of that John Jones fight. You talk about a pivotal fight in a fighter's career. I don't know if there's ever been a more pivotal fight than that fight. He was a hair away from winning. I don't know why I did this to signal a hair, but he was a hair away from winning. Forget about the world title. He was a hair away from being the guy who beat John Jones. That's the real fucking title. And he came closer than anybody. Gustafsson, Cormier, Thiago Santos, although that was pretty close. But Dominick Reyes really took it to Jones. It didn't go his way, the decision, and since then it's been nothing but knockout. Nothing but knockout losses, I should say. And it's been spread out. He's lost like once every year or whatever on average, or year and a half. He's taken his time, but in taking his time, his chin apparently hasn't recovered, and he's only gotten older. And here, even though he's fighting again a lesser threat as far as danger goes, he's fighting a better striker and a guy that matches his size, and I think will shut his lights out. Dustin Jacoby's been roughed up mostly on the ground in his losses, but in his last few losses, it's been on the feet. He lost to Khalil Roundtree, Azamat Murzakanov, and Alonzo Menafield. He faded a little bit against Menafield, was beaten up more against Azamat, and against Khalil, I thought he won that fight, to be honest. But still, those are 3 strikers, and strikers are getting by him now. All 3 of those losses are decisions, by the way. He's been TKO'd once and submitted twice, Jacoby. He was TKO'd by King Mo Lawal, fucking beast of a wrestler, a world-class wrestler if you don't remember him. John Salter rear naked choked him, and Chris Camozzi guillotined him. Those are both deep into the fight, and those are both UFC fighters, UFC-level fighters. So that's typically how he was beaten, but now, again, he's been beaten on the feet, although never knocked out. So Jacoby's looking more beatable and maybe a little slower and whatever else, but he's still a guy that has never been knocked out, which means he'll probably keep himself in there against Reyes, even if he's not able to fight his fight. And he's still producing knockouts against other 6'4" guys. Da Un Jung and Kennedy and Nzechukwu, whatever his height is. But Dustin Jacoby went through both of them with a knockout in round 1. And I think even though Dominick Reyes is a better fighter without considering his chin or anything than those guys, and he's got more to offer, his chin is still the story of this matchup and every matchup moving forward, unless he fights 10 fights and doesn't get even rocked. So it's got to be the story here. I think this would have been a totally different fight if Dominick Reyes didn't suffer these knockout losses. I mean, the guy, he knocked out Jared Cannonier. Cannonier's a middleweight, but look at him now. He's main eventing this fight night. He knocked out Chris Weidman, which Chris Weidman, even at that time, might have had a worse chin than Reyes does right now. But still a great victory, and that's what actually got him the title shot against Jones. And who can forget what he did against John Jones? Took it to him, like, again, very few, if anybody, ever has, and came so close to doing the greatest thing you can do in the sport right now, which is beat John Jones, unless you challenge Khabib and beat him or something. So yeah, Reyes, so much upside, and it's overshadowed by the downside. So I'm betting on the downside, picking Dustin Jacoby to win. As for the bet, his money line is better than the under 2.5 round line. So I just played the money line at Jacoby because he is not the most dangerous guy, even though he's got 12 knockouts and his whatever wins. But he's not as dangerous as the guys that have knocked out Reyes, and Jacoby can try to outpoint you with his kickboxing acumen. So I think there's a chance it goes that way, but really, I think the only way he would win a decision is if Reyes is able to slow this fight down, or even Jacoby slow this fight down. Because on the feet, with both them mixing it up, I just don't trust the chin of Dominick Reyes. I'm done trusting it, and I'll probably never trust it again. So Jacoby by knockout is the pick. I'll wait for the props to place more bets. And like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.